Well, how are you?
I'm well, Stacy. Scott, how are you doing? I'm really well.
Did they get that first bill? Yes. They got the first one almost.
Oh, they got a lot more done.
Please turn off your phone. Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District on January 23rd, 2024 at 8 a.m. at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Friendswood, Texas. Call the meeting to order. Invocation. Can we have a moment of silence, please? But please stand. Do the pledge, please.
Oh, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizens' comment. Members of the public are invited to give comments at this time lasting no longer than 3 minutes. Does anybody want to reach out and have any comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5. Consider resolution 2024-01, a resolution of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District of Galveston County, Texas, setting forth actions to authorize a joint election for the purpose of electing members to the board of directors. Do I hear a motion? Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, could be unanimous. B, review and take action on master plan update. Lakes at Westland Ranch, sections 2 and 3. Letter of authorization, LGA Planning and Landscape Architect. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? Second. Got a motion, second. Discussion? I have a comment.
Sure.
This is the 4th revision. Please pay attention to the prior revisions and how this increases our responsibility. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Item C, review and take action on Enterprise Clear Creek Dean Pipeline variance request. Since this line will be placed in an existing pipeline right away, which crosses Clear Creek at an angle of approximately 40 to 43 degrees, they would like to request a variance for the district's criteria to cross a facility within 20 degrees perpendicular to said facility. Enterprise Products. Teresa, do you have a comment?
I do. I will be recusing myself from items 5C, D, and E.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion? Motion. Second?
I have a second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Scott, I mean, I asked Josie yesterday, so you don't see, there's no flooding impact or any impact at all on this pipeline not coming across when we're coming across at the 22-degree angle that we have in our handbook.
No, sir. It's all going to be directionally bored and jacked. And it's in an existing right of way, so they're replacing an existing line that's already at that angle. Just like Exxon did back last year. I'm not sure if they've done construction yet, but we did approve that claim. So I don't foresee it being an issue. But you know, the whole purpose of that is we want the short amount of crossing as we could possibly have in case something goes awry, right? But you know, this is an existing situation. Not everything fits in one box, so I think it's a good consideration.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Show up to be 3 in favor, so the motion carried. Item D, review and take action on Enterprise Clear Creek Dean Pipeline variance request to install the concrete pad. Let's word this. Variance request requesting that they not install the concrete pad above the pipeline since it will be directionally drilled. Enterprise Products. Our motion. Motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion a second. Discussion. Does everybody understand why? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Should be unanimous. 3-0. Motion carries. Item E, review and take action on Enterprise Clear Creek Dean Pipeline Preliminary Drainage Plan. Enterprise Products. Do I hear a motion?
I'm like,
Of a second.
second.
Got a motion, a second. Any discussion?
Director Kevin?
Go ahead.
I'd like, maybe the board to consider approving it with, under the caveat that they add a note to the plans that the existing pipeline, once this one's, installed, that the existing pipeline is removed from the creek, the portion that's exposed.
The one they're replacing?
Yes, sir.
That's not already.
I did ask them to put on the plans, and I don't
I
recall
don't
seeing
see
it,
it there.
but I want it to be on record and make sure we move forward.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So Lonnie, would you amend your motion to add that to it?
Yes.
Rusty, would you amend your second to add that to it?
I'm in my second to remove the existing pipeline
After this,
after this one is functional.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Consent agenda, is there anybody on, and that's a 3-0. Kathy passes it. Anything on the consent agenda anybody would like to remove? If not, do I hear motion?
Motion.
Second. Got a motion, a second, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous. Joseph, what do you got, buddy? Operations manager report.
Not much, with all the rain and stuff, it's been slow, so the guys are working in the back, maintaining the equipment, and getting it ready for when it's time to get back to work.
Reach out and thank Harris County Flood Control for their quick response on that 2351. All right, Kathy, you got anything?
I have a few things. We're still plugging along with the audit. We're tying up loose ends. And sometime in February, we should have a presentation. And I have some information for you about if you have any legal questions. Scott is going to be unavailable for about 3 months. And so this is who you contact. I'm gonna lose this, Virginia.
Do you have a box back there to put it in?
And my only other information is I worked on a request for 3 years of financials, bank statements. And the Galveston County election has moved to Texas City, and they're at the, like, where the Mall of the Mainland was. So they're not in Galveston anymore. That's it.
Nothing. Progress.
Yeah.
No engineer here. League City engineer, got anything for us?
Just a brief update on how the west side development in League City. You'll start seeing some construction progress on Western Ranch sections 8 and 9, which they all intents and purposes are considering one major section. But they'll get started on that. And then on the south side of that development, we've recently approved plans and had pre-construction meetings for Lakes of Western Ranch sections 6 and 1. And of course, they're extending Magnolia Bayou further south to 517. They're extending Muldoon Parkway further east to the boundary of the Western Ranch
When you
property.
say Magnolia Bayou, you mean the road?
It's the north-south collector. Muldoon is the east-west. They're extending that further east to the boundary of their property. So lots of development going on in Western Ranch. But I'm here for any questions or concerns you guys might have.
That Magnolia Bayou, that sheet flow, are we damming up the water with the road? From going from east to, from west to east?
No, I tell you from a plan review perspective, we're always making sure we're not creating any adverse impact to adjacent property.
Matt, I get questions on that all the time from the Bayou Watershed and Dickinson about silt control. That's one of their main concerns. They have, Dave asked me about, and the people down that way asked me, what are we doing And I've brought this up to Joseph. What are we doing to make sure we can alleviate all their concerns? You know, there's not just that project. There's a lot of problems with silt down there from the water stuff before that was going on. But what are y'all doing to mitigate, to make sure that's not, you know, just inundating them down there?
So from a construction perspective, we've got one individual who's dedicated to SW3P and stormwater issues. He's out there. Of course, Western Ranch isn't his only project to look after, but he's constantly looking for stormwater pollution prevention issues. We're consistently working with those contractors to make sure they're in accordance to their SW3P plan as far as filter private fencing, inlet protection, all that kind of stuff. But if there's, I tell you, if there's a problem area in particular you want to bring to my attention, we can talk about it and I'll have it addressed.
Would you go to the next Dixon Valley watershed meeting, maybe with your partner there you're talking about, and maybe address that directly to the board? That would be awesome. I'll let you know the date.
Okay.
That would be really nice from me, directly from you on that.
Okay.
I think that'd be more effective because you could communicate and they could tell you exactly, because they need to be more specific on their exact issues there with also. I think would be good to do.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, man.
Peggy's not here. Board of Directors, Teresa,
I have nothing today. Thanks.
Rusty.
I have some stuff. It's a new year. I just want to talk about our strategy going forward, just for my fellow members on the board. I just want to remind people that you know, digging holes in the ground is not a flooding reduction strategy going forward. Reducing the water elevation in the district, which is what we all want to do. On the storms that matter, we need to worry about volumization and conveyance in our existing waterways. I want to warn against, and this is complex. This is just hitting just an avenue of this stuff, and I hope the city water will think into slicking out our waterways that feed, whether it's Cowards Creek, Mary's Creek, whether it's you know, more development up north on Chicker Creek. That water all hits Clear Creek. If we're not working on our main drain, especially from our southern end of our district up, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stack up. So I want to make sure it will stack up eventually. Which brings me to the third point of that. You know, we've been put in a bad situation. It's a complex situation in Friendswood with the Corps having Clear Creek's a navigable waterway, and we can't do much there without slope elevation. So I think being on message with the state, even I've talked to another city council guy retired in the state and the feds with Randy and them, and getting on message about what we can do, because we're pigeonholed here in our district and in Friendswood in particular, what we can do to alleviate that. We're working on stuff on Clear Creek, but not near fast enough. And it's hard. It's very expensive on Clear Creek. And our local tax base cannot mitigate 50 years worth of water coming down from the north. We can't tax them enough to mitigate those issues. We have to come up with different, better solutions. Be more aggressive, I believe, on Clear Creek from the south end of our district forward, because that's our main drain and our main issue. So I hope, Robert, you can carry that message to the city also and see how we can better strategize to get those things moving forward. And that's all I have for today.
Bonnie.
Nothing to report.
To have you up with Rusty. We get that 1959 project going with the city in Galveston County. We've got the barge going up and down the creek. Acquisition of property is imperative if we're going to move forward, and we'd like to partner with the city and League City over there with acquiring property on Clear Creek because it affects you guys too. We've proposed a lot of things that have not been brought up in the past. So we're moving forward quicker than we ever had. So Rusty's comment has merit. We can always do more. What I'd like to point out is what we're doing with the Whitcomb property as well.
Can I say something here? I know
Yeah.
I'm out of order, but as you were all aware, we got the $10 million from the state. That's with the Harris County Consolidated Drainage District. The city does not have money plans for coming from south and on the Autumn Creek, what we call the Autumn Creek and Blackhawk drainage plans. And that's in itself a $50 million deal. So yeah, you can't tax the people enough to pay for all the drainage that we need to do. The core, we've got to have the core because we can't get in the creek. But as far as what the city can do with you all, we can partner with acquisitions, and we want to partner with acquisitions. And one of the things that may have to happen, if we do issue more bonds, we would like to see Galveston County's Consolidated Drainage District issue bonds too, to help pay for some of the stuff that we're all do that you can't pay for out of your annual budget. So there's going to be more drainage projects. This is not the end. It's just the beginning. And we're going to continue to fight it for the residents of Friendswood, just like y'all do every day.
Yeah, to add on to that, you know, there was a plan, you know, several decades ago, going way back to volumize and to get that creek straightened out by the Corps, going back to the 60s, you know, even before I was born. And it just never materialized due to a lot of opposition from, and you know this, from the environmentalists, from a lot of things stopped it. So the most bang for the buck in this area, and it's a large lift, but when I'm talking about tunneling, when I'm talking about Ike and stuff that we might never live to see,
Right.
but is volumization of the existing main drain waterways, Clear Creek, Dixon Bayou, in these areas. The water already flows there. Okay, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. It flows to those areas. That's where I think we need pressure with the city in this area, and it's a larger issue with other municipalities, with the Corps, to do something about that, because these other things that we're doing, that we're hoping for, are long way and very, very expensive, billions of dollars to tunnel. Ike projects held up for $100 million or whatever it's being held up for. They don't even, remember they said they don't even know how much it's going to cost.
Right.
But we have these existing waterways, and there's been a plan in place that's just never come to fruition. And volumizing and straightening out those waterways, especially your main drains, is our best bang for the buck. But it's expensive because there's private land all the way up and down Clear Creek through our district.
So volumetrics, just like what y'all are doing, the volumetrics that we do are for the same reason. And two, what we have done has lowered the volumetrics expansion, even in Imperial Estates, has lowered our height during at least 100 year, and they look at 500 year too. I think almost a foot based on the projections that we have for within other places. But that also has to be tied to how many structures we take out of the floodplain. So when we talk volumetric, we're talking about lowering the level and then removing structures from the floods, and that has to be tied together.
Correct. I think the 500 years is
minimum.
It's minimum. I agree with you. I think that's where we even start our looking at, because the floods that get us aren't the 100-year floods. They're the big ones.
Yeah.
And that's what caused the catastrophic damage. And we will, as we mitigate and go through there, we will remove obstructions. We are down at Deepwood. We are on the creek by Mary's Creek where the confluence happens. I mean, we are getting, but there are a lot of nice structures in Friendswood. A third of Friendswood is in the bullseye zone of that creek. And those are some nice places. You're not just going to get those people just to leave for, we talk about properties all the time for minimum money. It's going to be expensive beyond our local tax base control, which is the other thing is we're not mitigating just our water people. We're mitigating water that's being dumped on us from our northern neighbors. And I'm not saying it's a bad deal. They develop. Water flows downhill. It comes through our district in Friendswood, and we swim in it. So should we get help to mitigate water that's not Friendswood's? Absolutely. It's not just on the city of Friendswood and this district to tax people to do stuff, and we don't even know if we're mitigating all the water they're sending us after Harvey, for example, because really nobody knows how much water is coming out of that creek, you know, and how much more impervious covers up north, Fort Bend County, Harris County, Brazoria County. So it's complex, but those are just volumizing and getting on waterways to convey water where it matters, which is Clear Creek for Friendswood.
Mm-hmm. I think we're all on the same page.
We are. Just how do we get there? Good. Yeah, good.
I'm done. Executive session, call the meeting to order. Executive session, the board of directors will convene into a closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.07 to discussion regarding property. We've got some things to sign and some checks to sign. We're adjourned into executive session. Thank you all.
Both directors, the sign plans.
So yeah, I just, I'll let you.
I'll bring these and keep signing them in there.
Okay, Kirby, super fun. Okay.
Scott's got help.